And he says, just prepare yourself, okay? And then when he goes to take him out, he asks the question, did you hear that?
Batman. Whoa, huh? What do you mean Project Batman? No way he's been engineering his life from the beginning. Ain't no way we're doing that, root bro. No way we're giving him eyes and level feats. No, please. He's already a teammate. Don't do this. I'ma keep it a stack with you. I'm not even gonna yap for this. Oh yeah, Dick Sawyer has all glazing holdings, dude. Oh yeah, I'm ready for this issue. He looks like a mix of Joker and like Mojito. That's crazy.
If ever there were a comic to say, such and such villain is nightmare fuel in the Absolute Batman comics,
that's all of them.
Absolute Scarecrow is it. I told you guys I was taking a break from my break to cover Absolute Batman. So this picks up 1,500 miles outside of the city of Gotham.
Oh boy, you know it's bad that we saw outside of the city. You know it's bad when we saw outside. The same thing happened with Joker, the racist cold dudes. Bane was outside. Oh my god,
Scarecrow showing up here while these two guys are tending to their land.
Just got that fight. That fight was so cool. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm just crazy now.
Harvester, the first guy's just like, what in the heck is this? Right? The second guy comes back and he asks the question, hey, what in the hell do you think
look how long that is.
Scarecrow just says,
I thought he would be lankier though.
No, he's out there barefoot. He just looks like a crazy guy out in the middle of nowhere. And so the first guy refers to this other guy's butt, right?
Like,
he says, look at this guy's face. And that's when you find out that the first guy's name is Vern.
Caroline, was it?
Right, and Buck just says, it's probably a mask, Vern, right? The guy probably got it at the party store on Central, right, freak? And Scarecrow just responds, and he's like, you got me, right? The party store on Central. How did you guess? And
how did you know they're best friends? Yeah, what?
Scarecrow interrupts him, and he says, gentlemen, come on now, we're all friends here. Am I right? Heck, you guys have been best friends for more than 30 years.
Well, how you know that?
That's despite the fact that
like
Byrne
a stalker
is banging your wife, Luann. And in that...
Whoa, I didn't read that. Whoa. This guy don't want to see it. This guy wants problems.
How do you know my wife's name? And what are you talking about? And the response of Vern is like, me and Luann. Right? Like, what is this? This is one of those internet pranks? And Scarecrow's like, exactly, an internet prank. Spot on, Vern. And so in that moment, Buck goes to reach into his pocket and he takes out his phone. And when he looks at it, Vern's just like, Buck, what is it? Right? And Buck just says, it's you sneaking out of my bedroom window with a giant tube of, oh my god. Now, while that's going
Huh? Wait, what did he do? What in the crazy genjutsu happened there?
With a giant tube of, oh my god. Now, while that's going
I couldn't read that comics. Explain more like comic doesn't let me read shit. Let me read that.
All these crows start flocking around. That'll become important here in a little bit. It's something I want you to keep in the back of your head. But in that moment,
see, he is basically touchy. I swear, I know because I'm a V, but my god, the amount of anime references in this whole absolute universe, especially Batman run, is amazing. I'm such a sucker for that.
Like, dude, I didn't mean anything. I swear.
I mean, to be fair, now what am I saying? Scarecrow is more... Crow is literally in his name. If anything, he touches as Scarecrow reference. I'm sorry, I'm crazy too much.
Plane is flying through all
making a
these crows.
genjutsu joke. I mean, my Itachi is actually very similar to Scarecrow.
And the plane seemingly starts to malfunction. So while that's going on, Buck knocks Vern to the ground, and then Buck goes to get in the combine harvester. And the whole time, Vern's pleading to him, right? Buck, please, brother, right? And Buck just says, brother, this, and runs over Vern with a combine harvester. So as you can imagine, there ain't a whole lot of Vern left over. And Scarecrow's just watching all of this. And he's like, come to think of it, maybe...
Why you did this, though? Like... What was this? What's the golden male instigator? Like, what was the point?
Just a mask. And so Buck gets out of the whole thing, and he's just like, how does that feel, right? But then he realizes what he's done. And seemingly, this temporary insanity wears off.
Huh. And
he's like, oh my god, Vern, what have I done? And he just says, I don't know what came over me. The thought of you and her. Vern, I was just so angry.
Not just
fear. And in response, Scarecrow just says, no, Buck, you were scared. And so Buck just looks at Scarecrow and is like, mister, maybe we can still save him, right? I'll scoop up what's left. You call an ambulance.
Oh god, I genuinely get shakes when I see a plane, bro. That's what Joker should have to see.
And the plane just comes crashing down into Buck and kills him on the spot.
What? How did he calculate that? Batman. Like that actually
Right now,
requires
this
I mean
begs a
he's
lot
a
of questions.
doctor or
Historically
something. He's a
speaking,
genius supposedly.
Scarecrow in DC Comics has always used a kind of fear toxin, but there's
Yeah.
no indication that a fear toxin has
anger.
been emitted here. More than that, though,
Oh.
the fear toxin affects the mind mentally, and while that
So how did he even release that? There was no
can't
sense of like
affect the
gas in
physical
the air.
world in terms of how a person perceives it, the idea of Buck
wasn't
taking
like
his
the
phone out of his
water?
pocket and seeing incriminating evidence on his phone that seemingly doesn't actually exist in the real world, there's any number of things that you can draw from this, right?
Is this an AI scary character or
Right now, the
something?
statement, maybe it's not just a mask,
Doesn't even
seems to
exist.
come from the idea that like whatever abilities he has stem from the mask itself. So is this some kind of a fear toxin, or are we
Wait, is that even a
talking
mask,
about an
though?
elevated level
Where's
of
his face?
Scarecrow, where it's not simply
That'd be
just
so much
about
cooler if
emitting
it's
a
actually
fear
face.
toxin?
I know
It's
that
some
doesn't
kind
make
of
sense. It was cooler.
telepathy, and that is
Oh, bro! Your guy is always a big axe. Fuck you mean telepathy? What is going on here, bro? He's going up against an Avengers double
more
threats. He's going up against Spider-Man villains. He's
a
Batman.
telepathic Scarecrow who can just put these horrendous fears directly into your brain or manipulate
that
you.
sucks.
That sounds more terrifying than the
Bruce is
original.
already going
I'll
through
be honest
so
with you
much
guys.
as now.
Despite the fact that Scarecrow became a member of the Sinestro Corps, even with
Oh, what's that on top? Hey, guys, they can know that.
all of that, Absolute Scarecrow still sounds more horrifying. And so what this does is this picks back up in the city of Gotham, because we're kind of following up with everything that's happened in relation to Batman. And we'll kind of talk a little more about this as we get through. But it says, in just the past couple of weeks, the kid has shifted into an entirely new gear.
Itachi.
I came back from MI6 to find him driven like never before. No
Who is he
friends, no
talking to?
distractions, nothing but Batman. Now, this is an
Yeah.
important distinction. Keep in mind, in the
He even deleted
aftermath
his
of
mom's
everything that had happened
message.
with Absolute Bane, one of the things that Scott Snyder has been consistently hitting on
Bro, my I'm pissing me up. I can't move with this pre-recorded video. We forgot to freaking put that away.
is
I'm
the
so
course of
sorry about
Batman
the top
has
prices. Just ignore
irrevocably
it.
changed. Right up
There's just
until
a
the
pop
point
out ad
of
on the
Absolute
video or
Bane,
something.
Batman, I wouldn't call him just kind of like quote unquote joyriding through the vigilante space, but I will say he didn't fully understand what he was getting into. And it's one of the things that Alfred kept telling him, right? Like, you are messing with things that you don't understand. You're getting into powers and abilities that you
To be fair to him, like, mainline Batman had so much time to get used to it, because at first it was just like gangsters and one. Bro, you've got up against literal demons, and I'm exaggerating that. They are actually just
don't
demons.
understand, right? Folks out there who can do things.
They're finally, hallelujah, he
will
got
turn your
away.
life
You did that.
and abilities that you don't understand, right? Folks out there who can do things that
Yeah.
will turn your life
don't make no
upside down
sense.
and inside out and bring horrors to your doorstep that you cannot even imagine, right? And if you
Yeah.
can't imagine them, they'd be darker than anything you've ever experienced
playing
in your
Dark
life.
Souls.
But in Bruce Wayne's
Actually
mind,
playing
and
Dark
to
Souls.
his credit, right, the mission of improving Gotham was the most important thing. It's not that dissimilar
bad
from
God,
like
all
Garth
I'm
Ennis's
these
Punisher
little
storyline, The
fists.
Slavers, right, where you have like that whole trade happening in New York. Frank Castle understands the grittiness of it. He understands the
I have
reality
not
of it.
read this one, so I
social
don't get the
worker
reference.
who's doing what she can doesn't really understand what she's getting into. But the motivation, the intention, that's what really matters here. Sure, that
How the
That's social-
frick does social worker start dealing with
worker
criminals?
was in over her head, and Batman was in over his head.
What did
too.
she do to
It
make
wasn't
them
until
that
Absolute
mad?
Bane showed up and literally tore apart his friend group, right? Crushed Oswald Cobblepot into this just kind of small, shrunken thing that we now call the Penguin, when he totally screwed up the head of Edward Nygma, when he burned the entire other half of Harvey Dent. And even before Absolute Bane, when Waylon Jones was taken by Arc M and
The thing is, cop got went to. I'm sorry,
converted
I
into
just.
Killer Croc. That's when the reality of the situation started to set in. That's when he really started to understand what was at stake here. And that's what Alfred's talking about with all of this. Because Batman's beelining straight for the cops. I mean, this dude is public enemy number one. And whatever
Yeah,
view
he
people
is.
had of Batman before, they're going to see him in an
That's why like being a vigilante in real life would never work. It's like the second you come out, every person on the planet wants to find out who you are. It's just not gonna work.
worst light here
But
in
that's
a
like how
minute,
makes us
because
fun.
as he's beelining
But like the cops,
towards
the
these
bad
cops, right?
guys, the
cops are just like,
normies on
boom,
Reddit
right,
and
we
whatnot,
got you
like they
now.
wanna
And
find
Alfred
out who you
chimes in
are.
and says, kid, they're 20 cars
It's just
deep.
like fine, bro. I don't give a fuck if like a vigilante shows up and saves like a whole orphanage. I'm still gonna find out who he is because it's
There's
just
no
fun.
exit routes. Why aren't you slowing down? And even the cops ask, why isn't he slowing down? And Batman just says,
Why
because
would
I'm
you slow
speeding
down,
up. Which is an amazing line. I gotta be
Oh,
honest.
yeah.
And so Alfred goes on, right?
You
He
don't
says
give no
he goes
fucks.
to work and
As
uses
Penguin
every
said in the
penny
Batman video, this guy is crazy.
to build
He's
things.
actually insane.
Wild new bat things. Only he understands. And he says, in a way,
Hold on. Might see this another case of my dumbass being blind. That's a new Batmobile, isn't it? You haven't
because
seen
I'm
that.
speeding up. Every penny to build things. Wild how strange people, the real story of their city, the greed, the
This is Scarecrow
corruption.
talking, right?
He never wanted Batman to become
Or is
the
that
story
Alfred?
or the savior.
Remember Alfred?
How
They
strange
told him to start
everything
hunting
must
bats now. What
suddenly
is he
feel
doing
to
now?
him. Turned all about. And that's true, right? That's the other part of what Scott Snyder's been hitting on. The reality here is that
I know.
when you have
It looks like
people
one of those
living
like
in
toy
a
cars
state
you got
of
a kid.
desperation, and then somebody comes along and by whatever manner and whatever means has the ability to shine a light on the source of that desperation, and then takes pot shots and is even successful in varying ways against the source of that desperation.
Not
People
varying
will
ways,
lift
he's
them
been
up
doing
as a
really well,
champion.
actually.
Not because of the fact that people are like, somebody needs to do something about this. And by somebody, I mean somebody else. It's because most people just don't know what to do. But that person does. So we will champion their cause. And that's what it turned into.
Gotham already like loves Batman. I wonder if we're gonna have like a Spider-Man arc where like everyone
Bruce Wayne.
turns
That's
on
what it turned
Batman.
into
Joker's
with
definitely
Absolute
gonna do
Batman.
that.
He's a champion of the people now. But it's something he never wanted. He never wanted to be a
That's
champion
why
of the
it's
people.
so good.
He just wanted
It's
to be
just
the
so
guy trying to
good.
make some kind of a
Gotta
difference
cheese
in
it
the city.
well.
But he just makes more
Gotta
of a
giggle
difference
against it.
than he thought he would. And that becomes important. What's also important here is that we've basically got the Batmobile, if we're being honest with ourselves, right?
I don't
and it's
like
funny
it.
how this whole conversation unfolds.
the
because at that point,
AB
the cops just kind of
just like it
contact each other
doesn't-
over radio, right? Like he's flipped over, boys.
Where is he even sitting? Like he's sitting in that circle area? I know.
Onto his
He's
roof,
there, right?
get him out, and then in that moment,
it was
he
a bit
kicks
meh.
back in again. And it's like
Look at
the back of
mosquito.
the car is becoming the front, and the front of the car is becoming the back. And one of the cops is like, I get
How
it, right?
the-
Stop
does he
it.
not
And
get
so that's when you
motion
start going
sickness?
back and
Like,
forth
that makes
between
no
Alfred
sense.
and Bruce on what this thing should be called, right? Because Alfred asks, like, what do you call that thing, kid? And Batman's just like, it doesn't have a name yet, right? And he's like, how about the bat gimbal, right? It's a gyroscope. And Bruce is just like, I know what it is. Hard no. And Alfred's like, I mean the bat gyro. Let's call it that, right? And Bruce is just like, a harder no. Pennyworth. And then Harley Quinn is just like, I mean, that thing's nasty. Let's call it the Bat Nasty, right? Which, I'll be honest with you guys, man, I kind of like that name. Like, to be
No,
honest,
that's so lame.
Like, to be
Bat
honest
Nasty?
here, I know it's not going to
No.
be a popular opinion.
No.
I kind of dig the name. The Bat
No.
Nasty. It's
No.
dope. But Batman
Ew.
is just like the hardest
Literally.
no in the history of no's. And so
Yeah, I'm
Alfred kind of
on that
continues
one.
on
Thank you
here,
very
right? He
much.
says, I can't say I'm not impressed by what he's become. I understand the need to shut
it's
others
Alfred
out,
talking
to
still.
go it alone, fast and hard, so no
One is
one
being
can
to-
follow.
What?
But it
That's
does
all
scare
F
me.
Harley.
That strategy can lead a man to
It's
dark
like F1.
places where he loses himself.
How do you have the
Still,
skills to
if
do all
anyone
this? It
can
doesn't
figure
seem
a way
like
through,
a lot of
it's
time
this
and effort
kid.
and energy
Of
and all
that
that.
much, I am sure. Now, this is particularly interesting because one of the cool
there-
kind of
I thought that's
relationships
better.
that you get here now.
That's so cool. Yeah, wow, that's so cool. In the Dark Knight trilogy, didn't make no sense. When he gets away from the cops in the first movie, he just like turns his lights off and then they miss him. And then he like goes to a waterfall and then they don't chase after him inside. Like they would investigate
It's not
that.
simply just the transition of Bruce Wayne into Batman.
Yeah.
You guys know this mythos, right? We don't kind of have to explain the philosophy of this, but it's a core element of Batman, right? It's always been a core element of Batman. That while he has been surrounded by the Bat family in a variety of ways, the reality here is that he's always kind of been an island among himself. It's always been
This is
less
his fault.
about
It is his fault. That's why
Stephanie
Nightwing is so
Brown
cool.
and Dick
He moved
Grayson
on.
and Tim
He grew
Drake
up.
and Jason Todd,
Bruce just
you
can't.
know, Duke Thomas and all these different guys, Batwing and so on. It's always been less about the fact that they're like a tight-knit family, and it's always been more that like he's an island and they're just kind of islands that exist around him. He's always
so
kind of
sad.
kept them at arm's length. And while there have been stories like Death of the Family from the New 52, phenomenal story, it's absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, I read that. Is that the one where Joker falls off the cliff at the end? Even though Bruce doesn't want him to,
Maybe
he
we
just
should
does fall
remaster
off.
New 52 Batman at some point.
At the end
While
of
you
it,
have
that's how
had
it kinda,
stories
like,
like
dies,
that in
quote,
some
unquote.
capacity have demonstrated the fact
think I read it.
that when the
That's it,
Joker
am I?
broke into the Batcave, that it wasn't just him going after Batman, it was the Bat family saying, now he knows all of our identities, right? Whether you choose to believe that you exist by yourself or not, the reality is that we are connected to you in some capacity, right? So what affects you affects us.
I'm into Robin. I feel like we're leading to Robin in this issue. I saw some pictures of it. Isn't he like a robot the year or something.
And
I
so it
don't
always
know.
kind of found a way to
But I
reel
think we
him
get
back
into that,
in.
aren't we?
Sometimes it's a little more empathetic than that, right? Bruce, you don't have to do it alone. We love you, we care about you, let us help. Right? But
Yeah.
whatever the case is, Absolute
Sometimes
Batman
the
is
thing
very
is,
much
even
going
when
down.
he does listen, he just gets anxious. He gets scared. Like when he gets too comfortable, he literally sees them burning in the fire. Like
on
he
that
cannot.
path. He's
This
going down
guy
this
is
road
too
of
fucking
becoming a guy who
ahead.
functions by himself, and there'll be a reason for that here in a second. But the other cool relationship here is with the Red Hood gang, led by
Yeah.
Harley Quinn. It's almost like a pit crew, essentially, right? Like he literally comes racing into an alleyway,
Fair
and
enough.
they're just like, break it down, 30 seconds, right? And they're literally counting down 20 seconds, 10 seconds, right? This thing gets broken down so quickly, and one of them's like,
Yeah.
hurry up, Batman, out of the Bat Nasty, and he's like, stop calling it that. So
Stop
apparently the
calling
Red
it that,
Hood
but
gang
it's
has
not
just
called Bat
adopted the
Nasty.
name that it's the Bat Nasty.
We're not
because
calling
they're
it
all
that, bro.
hearing the conversation between Batman and
Why is it going on me? I
Alfred
shouldn't.
and Harley
No,
Quinn, right? And
I
so
don't
at
want
that
to call
point,
it
they
that.
get everything
That's
loaded
too.
up into the van, and they're like, we're out. There's
No,
clothes in the
but
shopping
that's
cart.
the
Bruce Wayne
bad,
grabs
that's
them,
the-
throws them
that's
on,
the- that's
just
the
as a couple
bad,
cops
that's the-
roll
that's just
by,
what I
and he
think
just
about.
points in that direction over there.
And it goes
Now,
on.
He looks like a homeless guy. They're
Oh,
not going
no.
to ask any questions. Dude's got a shopping cart, and so they just end up going in the direction that he points them in. I gotta be
Especially in
honest,
Gotham,
man.
there's
I'm
so
kind of
many.
loving
See, this is the point of having homeless people. They don't
this version of Batman in some ways a little more than the main DC universe. I
do,
love that
too.
he's so boots on the ground. That's
Yeah,
what I love.
same.
Right? Don't get me wrong. I do love Batman in the main DC universe, but there's something
Honestly, this is
about
Absolute Batman should have becoming my favorite Batman. I think nowadays the idea of like a billionaire being good is just so unrealistic. You just can't believe it.
Bruce Wayne
So someone being grounded and going up
feels
against
like a
them makes
common
more
man,
sense.
right? Doesn't look like a common man, but
I know, but so good even the like new 52 has tried it so many times, but he's broke now and you take away from his money, and now
feels
what he's
like
gonna
a common
do?
man. I
They keep
love
doing
that version
lately.
of Bruce Wayne here. But the other
Yeah,
point
same.
is he goes and talks to Waylon Jones. Now, one of the things to keep in mind, right? We saw in the Absolute Batman after
He
point
doesn't
is he
even
goes
make the excuse to his co-workers anymore. So he's become even more isolated. In the last one, in his diary, he says like, I say maybe another time, but my hands are shaking. Like now
talks
he's not
to
even
Waylon
talking to them.
Jones. Now, one of the things to keep in mind, right? We saw
Wait,
in
boy,
the
you're so
Absolute Batman,
anxious.
Absolute Wonder Woman
Oh, here we
crossover
go.
that he had
Yes,
literally traveled
yes,
to the
they
realm
did.
of the
Ah, never
gods
mind.
in order to attain an
Oh,
artifact that could transform
he
a man who was
flashback
turned into a
baited me.
beast back into a man again. The hope behind all of that is that it could restore Waylon Jones, and it
I
seems
hope
to be
so.
doing the job because when Bruce Wayne,
I mean,
is
Bruce
walking
doesn't
along,
know
right,
that.
in this
Bruce in
kind of
his
construction
diary
site,
said, "Don't be
Waylon
scared."
Jones calls him over.
Yes,
He's
I've
just
seen
kind of
him.
standing in an alleyway. Now he's not back to his normal human self, and if anything,
Oh, yeah,
he's
it
kind of
is
brought
new.
closer
This
in
is
line
new.
with the killer
Yes.
Croc that we're the most familiar
Oh, well,
with.
don't be too
in
happy,
DC
Bruce.
Comics.
That's the
But
reaction.
Bruce is glad to see that
Ah,
even
there
on
we
some
go.
level,
Oh,
he's returning to a state
so
of
happy
normalcy.
days.
And that's what he says, right? Thank
God
God
damn,
you're
Bruce is
back.
big.
And Waylon just says, not completely, but this thing that you got,
Like,
it's
Waylon is
bringing you
big,
back.
bro.
Now, this is kind of an important statement. We don't know if he's going to go
Dagger, you're
back to a
back.
human form eventually, or if this
Can
form
he
that he
even go
has
back
now
to
is his
zero
permanent form, or at least the only form he can really take, and this is the closest
Okay.
he'll ever get to looking
I kind of know why it's fully go back. I think this is more fun.
but it doesn't really matter, right? The reason why is because at this point, he's Waylon Jones in mind. What's the plan? Right? And Bruce is like, the plan, like, what are you talking about? And Waylon just says, the plan, man, like, the next move.
I am so dumb. I am so fucking stupid. I am so stupid. I was thinking why the video was felt too zoomed in. This is why.
walks away from
Sorry,
Waylon
okay,
Jones.
well,
Now, again,
look, that's why I
keep in
told
mind,
you.
this
Go
is
my
not
Sojo
Batman
video. I'm
acting
still
out of
keeping out
malice.
the story
It's
just fine,
Batman
okay?
acting out of fear. It's Batman afraid of the fact that he brought them in, their lives were irrevocably changed, and he's
Yeah.
afraid of what could happen next. And I think, if anything, this represents Bruce Wayne understanding
About
what he's
responsibility.
stepping
With
into
great
now.
power
Alfred
comes
was
great
right when he
responsibility,
told
but
him,
this
"There are
motherfucker has
forces at
fuck all
play out
power.
here
It's
that you
just
can
the
barely
power of
comprehend,
determination
and
and
they will
ego.
destroy your life and everyone that you know and love." Bruce has
Yeah,
gotten
he
a
will.
taste of that, but he doesn't know how far down this rabbit hole.
This is where Alfred can like really clutch up. Cause like everyone around him feel very fragile. How he can actually handle himself. So,
goes.
you know.
He's Alice.
I think it definitely
he just stepped
reassured
in
you.
chasing the white rabbit, and sure, he came across a jar of molasses, but he's still falling. Right? He has not gotten to the long, low hall with the lamps hanging from the roof. So it's one of these crazy things when you see how his character's evolved and grown over the years. But at that point, you jump back to the aftermath of the fight between Waylon Jones and Bibbo Babowski. Because one of the things to keep in mind here is that the fight was supposed to be fixed. Right? If you guys remember that whole segment and that whole...
How old is he then? He's like 17, 18 there now.
In Absolute Batman number 14 with Absolute Bane, one of the things that we learn is it was almost kind of a juxtaposition between the fight with Waylon and Bibbo and the fight with Bruce Wayne and Absolute Bane. That it was a David versus Goliath fight. Waylon was supposed to go down. Instead, that didn't happen.
Why it wasn't the Bane
and what
one.
Bruce had done is he had taken all the money from Falcone, and he had bet it all on Waylon Jones to win, which is exactly what happened. But the fact is, it pissed off Falcone. Not only that, right, Bruce is in prison, and that's when you kind of find out.
Oh, that's why she just left.
This is when she left because too well connected for everything. Bruce has just had the tar beat out of him. I mean, he's able to hold his own. The guy's 6'7" and like 400 pounds. Like I promise you, this man can hold his own in a prison.
No problem.
Right, but Bruce tells Waylon, right, you should see the other.
No matter he's Batman, he definitely has CTE. After he got his ass, I don't care. Look, I got to like, it's Falcone's guys, bro. He's getting jumped daily.
Like 10 people. Was it because of Falcone?
No matter he's absolute
Batman.
Batman.
Says he's got a lot of friends in here, man. Right, and that's when Waylon tells him, and out here too, because your bail goes up every time we meet it. Right, the guys. Harvey is looking into legal loopholes. Ozzy is backdooring things. And he's questioning it all. Me, the fight money that you gave me is tied up in the gym purchase. I tried to resell the place, but Falcone has everyone scared to buy it.
Petty, but you must cry about it. I'm so glad Black Mask killed him.
I will never talk to you again.
I'm so glad. Like Black Mask is like honorably a piece of shit. Like these guys were just like so petty. I'm so glad. This one thing I love about Batman right now. You have the Batman with the grounded, like Falcone, the Penguin stuff. Like that's more grounded stuff, drama. And then you have Absolute Batman with the over-the-top stuff.
I bet
this one I love. And I really hope James Gunn stuff. We get our good nature of it.
Understand? One of us wins. We all win. I save you, you save me. We all keep saving each other until we all
unfortunately that happened with Bane though,
didn't it? For life. And Waylon
that's how they didn't use this flashback against Bane.
Says no one can change that. Now, that's one of the most beautiful developments of the Absolute Universe. And that's why I say it's so awesome that the whole thing is inverted. You guys know, Crime Alley is the alley where Thomas and Martha
I wasn't a big fan of making them friends at first, but wow, it was an elite decision.
It's a place of tragedy. It's a place of sadness. And while it still very much is in the Absolute Universe, that instead of what came out of it
this
being
is a legendary run, bro.
We're
beating a legendary run. Imagine the animations, the games out of this. Oh my god! Award!
They're all friends. So something kind of beautiful came out of this. But you see the betrayal here for Waylon Jones, right? That the agreement was that they all support each other no matter what until they all make it out of Crime Alley and find some better life. But then when it comes time to actually honor that agreement, Bruce is afraid to do it because he understands.
My expression was wrong, bro. I am so dumb. Look, I'm sorry. Let's just react. I thought let's be honest.
Bruce Wayne and Alfred and Harley Quinn monitoring the return of Absolute Joker. Now remember, we know very little about this guy, right? We've got, what, a few appearances, we got one comic.
It's like, fucking terrifying already. The less the better. This is it. The less you show the better.
And one of the things that Alfred theorized is that
cracking up aura points.
Of the Jack Grimm
he's racking up aura points. I don't know about cracking up means. He's racking up aura points.
It was Scott Snyder grabbing the Dionysium storyline from his new 52 Batman
I would
run.
say, yeah, but she definitely has every age known to mankind. Like,
of the Joker being the
I have the Joker, yeah,
he's been alive for hundreds of years. He's very, very old. It was one of the coolest plot threads that DC never did anything with. It was the comic book equivalent of like your voice trailing off. It just vanished one day, and that was it. Right, but the cool thing about this is that when they're watching him, Bruce Wayne says him, right, he's everywhere all of a sudden. And that's when you get this kind of news segment, right, where it says, a warm welcome back to Gotham royalty, Jack Grimm the...
So does he know that Bruce knows then? He definitely knows, right? He's kind of like laughing at his face. He's like, yeah, here you go. You figure it out, big whoop. I don't even care about hiding my identity as much as you do.
Fourth, generous grants to multiple city programs. And he says, because I truly believe that Gotham is all of us together. So clearly he's shining people on. And that's exactly what Alfred says, right? The charm offensive continues. And Bruce just says, for weeks now, right? The city loves him, right? And that's where they all kind of start to agree. It's how he operates. He's
not doing that much.
But the question's for what, right? And it just says, nothing good, right? We need to stay vigilant. That's an important thing to understand here. Batman Batman and Absolute Joker.
Wow, oh, I
haven't
thought
really
he actually
fought,
showed up.
right? They are
I just
aware
said
of
I
each other,
received.
right? Batman is aware of Absolute Joker, and Absolute Joker is aware of Batman. But we have not gotten the, New 52 Batman Endgame-esque storyline yet, where like the two of them fight to the death type of thing, right? But still,
that's like the end of this run, right? I'm sure we're gonna get it there.
This signal ends up coming up.
That was almost the end of my life. Why are there ads in a
on the screen,
pre-recorded
and
video?
Bruce is like, what is all of this about, right? And Harley's just like, us being vigilant, and he's just like, Harley, right?
Huh?
And she says, what, right? It's just a little something that I whipped up. I'm still testing it, right? But people can send a distress beacon to your cowl when they need help.
Whoa, that's really cool.
Signal.
It's like what Yankee did in the Miles game.
It's encrypted.
It's like that. It's really
not
cool.
like folks out there can just be calling you on the phone. Now, this is dope, right? A 21st century Batman in a lot of ways. Because let's be honest with ourselves, as iconic as it is, the bat signal flying out in the sky, that's unique to the main DC Universe Batman. I don't know that I would have been a fan of seeing that rolled over.
Especially that freaking, like, his bat symbol wouldn't look good on the sky. We
Batman
kind of had it in the,
this is a universe that
Black
changes
Mask
so
for the
much
first
about
time.
the mythos. There is something to be
ugly.
said about the more things change, the more they stay the same. And the bat signal certainly does more than just have Commissioner Gordon say,
I mean, we can still have the bat
Batman,
signal, but I don't mind not having it.
Criminals out there, right?
Batman's
out there. Well, he won't kill you. He'll have you drinking your food through a straw for the rest of your life, right? So, right, don't commit crimes. And so it's one of these things where I love the.
A lot of people will say, wow, Batman is so, weird. He's such a hypocritical for doing that. Bro, these are criminals. In Gotham, they literally kill children for fun. They do not care. They make a competition out of killing children. I understand why people think Bruce is hypocritical. And these guys absolutely deserve that kind of treatment. They don't deserve to die because it's not his call. But let me tell you, bro, they do not deserve to eat properly. I do not mind that he beats people that bad.
But that's when he gets a call from Jim.
Then all you say, oh, Torment, you're just a Gotham citizen who's just he's trying to vote for the Joker to feed his family. What? What fucking mean vote for the Joker to feed your family? That's not, what? That don't make no sense.
Gordon.
These are criminals who deserve it, for sure.
Harley asks, we're all going to go to jail, aren't we? And Alfred's like, I mean, probably, but I don't think it's today.
First time.
And so when Batman gets to the rooftop where Jim Gordon's at, Jim seems a little overly paranoid. Right? He immediately turns a gun on Batman.
Here we go. Here we go.
I am.
Not the fucking.
Man,
not the fucking.
Fast for a big guy. I guess I'm gonna have to get used to that,
Oh.
aren't I? If we're gonna make meeting like
scared,
this.
or is he just shook?
One of the things to keep in mind about
Wait, don't you already know? Don't you already know he already knows?
And it's very easy to forget here, right? It was kind of this small little moment that happened over the course of the Absolute Batman line. For those of you guys who don't remember, number one, Jim Gordon is in a relationship with Bruce Wayne's mom. Which Bruce didn't really take too kindly to. It was one of these things where he hated it, but it was almost kind of like the teenage response, right? Dad's no longer a part of the picture for obviously tragic reasons. Mom's found a new guy, and I don't know how I feel about that. Right, I think it's important to frame it that way as opposed to Bruce is young and angsty and pissed because his mom's meeting somebody else. His dad died in a very tragic circumstance. And so you can understand why he would respond to it the way that he did. But the other thing is that Jim Gordon, being as capable of a cop as he is, he figured out very early on that Bruce Wayne was Batman. Right? He was like, I mean, look, if nothing else, it was just looking at the build of both of you guys. Like, the reality here is that you just put on a costume
didn't realize
and
it. I
go
was
out there
reacting
as
last night.
Absolute Batman. You don't change your size, but you don't have the ability to alter the size of your body. So it's only a matter of time before I was able to figure it out, which really begs the question, how long would it take for other people to figure it out besides those who already have? But Bruce...
I can't do this. You have at this maybe 3 citizens in all of Gotham that have the same build.
Right, Mr. Gordon, on the phone, you sounded upset. You sounded scared. And Jim just says, I suppose I did. Right? How do I say this? Over the past few weeks, since your mother left, I've been doing some digging. It started with questions about the past, but what I found, it changes everything, because that's the other thing that we learned.
He knows about the Court of Owls now?
Mom was at one point a part of the Absolute Court of Owls. They were seemingly not
definitely
villains.
calls him mommy.
They were people trying to affect positive change in the city of Gotham by weeding out all the corruption. But basically, Absolute Joker got to them, obliterated their ranks, and what was left fled, right? And it seemed like Martha was one of them, and then just settled down and built a life with Thomas Wayne. But Jim Gordon continues on, right? It does change everything, but not just about the past, but the present too. And it all leads right here, son,
What was
this
he
moment
teaching?
and to you directly.
Was it better
And
than
Bruce asks,
Monk?
right, what
Say
leads
like
to
that.
me? And Jim just says, all of it, right? Everything for days now. I've been wrestling with whether to call you or not and to give these files to you. He says the truth is, I don't know what the right thing is anymore, but the deeper I dig, the more frightening it gets. And so what you're seeing here is a very unsettled Commissioner Gordon. This guy's all over the place. His behavior is erratic.
All right, he hasn't told him anything about the Joker.
Only
Alfred and
Bruce is just like, Mr. Gordon, right? But the response to Jim, he says, the more loss in it I feel. It's like one of those corn mazes, right? Where it's too tall to see over the stalks to the exit.
Yeah,
and
Bruce feels the exact same way.
You should just show me. And Jim's like, show you what? And then that's when he realizes what he's talking about, right? All right, the files, right? And he says, just prepare yourself, okay? And then when he goes to take them out, he asks the question, did you hear that?
Whoa, huh? Huh? What do you mean Project Bat? Is that from like when they were having had him captive? Cause ain't no way he's been engineering his life from the beginning. Ain't no way we're doing that route, bro. No way we're giving him Eisen level feats. No, please. He's already a teammate. Don't do this. Oh. Bro, fuck Joker for a second. That's a crow. Oh, you know what that means.
Right, so
clear
paranoia here, right? There's a crow that's sitting out there, but the file contains what's called Project Batman. So seemingly, this is a great big huge plan that's been laid out for quite some time. It looks like Bruce becoming Batman was not a mistake.
He's so scared.
It was all part of the plan.
Wait, why did he burn it? Wait, why did he burn it? Hold on, why did he burn it, bro? Bro, look at you. What is happening with Jim? Why is he tripping so hard?
I never should have come here. And he takes a cigarette and starts burning the files.
Okay, bro,
and at that moment, Jim Gordon's arm catches on fire. Right? He's like, clumsy me. Right? He just says, Mr. Gordon, just tell me what's going on. We'll get you some help. Okay? And the crows start cawing. Right? And he says, I'm afraid it's too late for that. Just promise me you will burn
I fucking hate these cryptic
those
bullshit.
files. Burn them, son.
Why you
Please.
skull knight?
And Batman just says, it's okay, Mr. Gordon. And Jim just says, no, right? If you won't burn them,
it's not
I'll
okay.
do it
He's
myself. But then the crows literally start buzzing all around him. And he's like trying to stop.
The soup. Oh my god, I was so it. He's actually sucking lightning the fuck out of him.
The birds.
Oh no.
His birds. And Bruce grabs the files, looks down, and it's like, what in the hell is this? And Jim just says, I'm sorry, Bruce, for everything. But most of all, for what you're about to find out. And he goes to jump off the edge.
What
now, Bruce grabs him. Like, literally, the talon from the cape comes out and grabs his coat. And he's like, I have you, Mr. Gordon. Hang on. And then as soon as he gets to the edge, Jim Gordon has already fallen. Hits the ground. And everybody just starts pointing out.
There's no way this is real. No way you killed Jim Gordon.
Look up there.
No.
Did he kill him?
Oh,
no.
Bro, I was kidding. I don't want the whole city turning about it already.
And as he's standing on this rooftop,
going on?
He looks over, and what does he see?
Ain't no way.
Absolute Scarecrow who lights a cigarette and just waves at him. Doesn't take any of this seriously. And so at that point...
Oh my, that looks fucking terrifying. Look at that shit. Imagine
you
seeing
jump
that
over
at night.
To a huge moment.
Hell. This to me is terrifying. Ghosts and all that nonsense, I don't care. This a real person being like this when you know it's real, when you know he wants to kill you.
And I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Fucking terrifying.
This is going to blow your mind, right? And so when Bruce Wayne gets back to what you and I would call the Batcave, essentially, right? It's base of operations.
Oh no, is he actually dead? They actually killed off Gordon like that. Ain't no fucking way they did that.
He's traumatized by him. Literally, absolute Scarecrow traumatized Bruce Wayne. He traumatized the hell out of this guy. Right? And he just says, I had him. Right? And
Bruce, this is like the worst thing you can do to Bruce. Killing one of his loved ones in front of him. Like that?
Alfred's like, it's not your fault, kid. And he says, for that 1 second, I had him. Right? I did. He lost basically a father figure. I wouldn't say that it's like losing a second father, but it's losing a guy who would have been and who could have been. Right? Bruce was on his way to viewing Jim that way.
Bro, I was actually signed to. Why with Gordon already?
That's when you find out that it's real. Right? Jim Gordon hitting the ground. He's dead, right? The news comes on. We bring you a special message from Mayor Hill, right? And he says, thank you. Fellow Gothamites, I come...
That's how you introduce Scarecrow by killing Gordon. It's his fault, isn't it?
Tragic news.
That's why he was so
Former Mayor Jim Gordon is dead, killed by the...
He probably... Wait, hold on. No. Maybe it's an Eisen thing. Because Scarecrow can manipulate evidence. He just did that with the former dice. So maybe it's that. Maybe it is fake. We don't know.
This is where he goes into that political nonsense and kind of
I don't even think the Scarecrow. I thought it's the Joker. I thought Joker, because he's been alive for so long, he did this to get that man, like he drew an engineer of that man to call up and challenge him because it's so
the
boring.
entire situation about himself, right? Jim and I were close friends, more family
But
than...
he instinctively, no matter how hard Darkseid tries to make him this like calm, just give him everything he can have possibly. He doesn't care. He wants the challenge. He wants his Batman.
friends and...
That's why he's engineered Bruce. But I'm gonna shut up now, actually,
No
because it
one
seems
was
more important.
happier for me when I won the mayorship than him.
Yeah,
Harold,
shut
he
up.
told me, to be honest,
Shut up.
I'm relieved you
Shut
won
up.
instead of me. You are the
Shut
best
up.
man to keep this city safe.
I'm
Obviously,
trying
that's
so
a
hard to not get
crock.
political in
Right?
this
Like,
video, bro.
obviously, it's full of nonsense. And
Shut
that's when he
up.
gets cut off, but not by anybody who's acting with empathetic intent. He gets cut off by a very nefarious man. This guy walks
Isn't
up and
he-
just says, that's
know him,
enough,
Army?
right? And that's where the mayor just says, all right,
No,
yeah. And
I thought it's the cop that was that saw blackface killer guy. It's not him.
here and now, to help
Is
explain
he like,
how we will keep
was
Gotham
Deathstroke or
City
something?
safe. And that's where this guy
important?
steps up and says, ladies and gentlemen, my
Oh, but what the fuck? I did not know that. Yeah, totally. Wait, Robin? Why the fuck does he have the Robin mark on him? I know it's Deathstroke. My name is Slade Wilson. It is him. It is Deathstroke. Why the fuck does he have the Robin mark on him? That's the Robin stuff.
name
What the?
is Slade
Oh, he's just stealing the Scarecrow. Why are you
Wilson.
here now?
Now, you don't know
Oh
me,
my
but what I
God,
know
this
about
is
you,
bad.
about the people
Bruce
of
just
this
hang up the
city, is
cable.
that you are tough. You are
Tell me
unafraid.
what?
Because
Can't
Gotham,
so that's
it
Scarecrow.
tests you. It tests you more than perhaps any other
Oh, wait,
city
he's a
on
resident
Earth.
Gotham
Still,
citizen too.
every
He's got
single
pedophile in this
day,
one.
you pick yourselves up. You put yourselves together, one step at a time,
What
and you
the
go out
hell?
there
What in the
and you face
chameleon
Gotham
is this?
head on. For too long, though, you have not had real help. Today,
You've
that
already did?
changes. No more darkness.
But-
No more creatures of the night terrorizing your streets. From now
Yeah.
on,
What, you got to
let
the daylight
Gotham's
now?
symbol be a messenger of morning. With that, I present to you the Robin program. I told you
Oh,
guys,
kiss
right?
off.
The
He's the Robin. What the fuck? You see, like, training Robins? That's terrible. That's horrible. It's a good way of turning... Because to me, that's so because of the Teen Titans cartoon. He's always a Robin villain. He's not even like a Teen Titans villain. He's a Robin villain. So, I think this is a cool twist, but I am skeptical. I will be
meaning of this
honest.
is
I don't know
nuts.
what's happening here.
Funded by one of Gotham's own founding sons,
brother. That's
Jack
this guy uses the children to stay young. That is
Grimm.
terrible. That
Mr.
is
Grimm's
horrible.
sustained
These
an
Robins are gonna be-
extraordinary support for
Fuck, you thought
Gotham's
Jason
youth,
Todd had that.
especially
Oh,
its
boy.
least fortunate children, is well
it's gotta be
known.
Jason, isn't
He
it?
has
That
sheltered,
motherfucker, it's gotta go through
mentored,
it.
and guided countless numbers of challenged young
Wow.
men and women
We went on
over
the
the
Blue
years.
Lock program
He
for serial
takes the
killers. Great.
misunderstood, the wards of the state, or
What
fallen
the-
through the city's many cracks, and helps them find their way.
This is
The
so
ones who've
messed
turned
up. How did no one see this shit? I mean, I say that. There's probably so many messed up things happening in the world right now
to
that we don't know
criminality,
this, but wow.
guided by an exceptional leader, orphaned at an early age, and
Yeah.
raised by Mr. Grimm,
Jason Todd. Oh, Duke Thomas. Oh
This
no. So they actually exist.
will be Gotham's new totem.
Okay, I'm not
And
seeing my
there's
goat
names
though.
here
I'm not seeing my goat
that
here
you
though.
should recognize.
I'm not seeing my goat.
Tim Drake,
Dick Grayson is not here.
Stephanie Brown,
My goat is not here. I'm
Jason
not seeing Richard.
Todd, Duke
Come on, go.
Thomas,
Come on, go. Yes,
Dick
that's why it's not humble.
Grayson, right?
Huh? Now, what was that's just crazy. God damn it, he's even programming. Yep, Buffy's so a dick. He was like, not being a dick. He was helping
These
people.
are the traditional Robins of
What?
Batman, right? And he says, I have had the honor of
Great.
training them, and
Oh,
they
no.
are more than ready. And so at that point, when
Notice
they
how that piece of shit. What's his name? I forgot his name. Freaking, what's his name? Damian
approach
Knight
Slade,
is not
right,
here,
they say,
thank
we don't
God."
understand, General Wilson. The
They really said no, but he already got enough problems. You don't want to give him
order
this.
said to suit up for duty, but we already did. And he says, that's because those are not
Ain't
your
no way.
suits, Captain Grayson. These
What?
are. And he presents them with their outfits. We don't get to see what their suits
Wow.
look like, but he presents them. And he says, together, we will end this long, dark night of fear and terror. We will
What if
bring
Power
back
Rangers
the
is going
light.
on now?
But make no mistake,
Bro, this Slade is a freaking fraud, man. He was talking about some, oh, he's nothing for me. He's, give me liberty, give me fire, give me 5 orphan groom kids or I retire. Bro was talking about some, oh, he's nothing. I'm not impressed by that, man.
it will
Then
be
he calls
a
up kids
fight,
fucking
ladies
fraud.
and gentlemen.
Fraud,
Maybe the
that's-
biggest fight in the
Nick
history
Fury.
of this city. And it starts
Well,
right?
come on, I was fucking reading that. Okay, well, that's it. Not this issue. Yeah, fraud, you are fraud, but my god, sort of hook you on that. That's it.
Peace.
And wow, okay, so next issue is gonna be about Robins. I am so honestly not giving a damn about the Robins. They got the squad Robins or Scarecrow. That was, why did they kill Gordon like that? That was like, what did my world do to make them writers that mad? Go watch Comic Explains actual video if you don't want to keep me yapping. And more importantly, appreciate that watch NyxFam. Till next time, lighting out.